up, everyone? This is John, and this is Things That Fun. And this episode is going to be the second part of pulling my Lotus engine apart, or pulling the head off. Got a blown head gasket. See the previous video for more info on that. But got pretty far in the first episode. Had some snags, but turned out not to be so bad. I was worried that I mixed up all the valve shims when I took the cam towers off. I was worried I was going to have to redo all that and get new shims and go through the whole process of checking the clearance and lash on my valves. But I emailed the engine builder who built the engine for me a few years ago, and he thinks he can walk me through figuring out which ones go where. That'll be a huge time saver. I don't know if he's got them marked or what, but either way, that'd be great. Even if I do have to do the valves, check them out from scratch, shouldn't be too bad with the head and the cams off of the vehicle. Should make it a little bit easier. But one thing that I'd forgotten about working on my Lotus was how freaking painful it is. I am so sore today. Got bruises. My hands are all cut up and nicked. I can't even really wash my hands very well because of that. It's just very difficult working on a mid-engine car like that. With bending over the sides the whole time, it's just very awkward. There's a known term in the Lotus community called the Lotus position. It's basically anything you have to do on a Lotus, you have to assume the Lotus position, which is the most painful way you could possibly think of to accomplish the task. It's crazy. But anyway, just had a good breakfast. I didn't eat much, if anything, yesterday. I just stayed with it all day. Hardly even had anything to drink, so that wasn't good. So I started off by having a good breakfast. And actually, I'm going to take my pup Abe out. He was cooped up all day yesterday in the front yard while I was doing this. It was beautiful weather, so he gets a treat this morning. Going to take him to PetSmart and maybe to the park to run around a bit before I get back to work on this. So we'll see you in a bit. All right, I'm ready to get back to it. Hopefully I can get the head off today and just be waiting on parts after that. And maybe do some cleaning and stuff while I'm waiting. I did find one thing interesting when I was pulling off the cam towers and disassembling everything. So the charge cooler sits right up in this area. And I noticed pinched hose as I was taking it off. So vacuum hose that goes to the fuel regulator, and I believe more vacuum leads to higher fuel pressure and more fuel, for example when you're under boost. So I guess it's one possibility maybe that I ran lean, which caused this blown head gasket. And the incident that I remember where it overheated that first time, that may have just been a symptom of the blown head gasket, and that may not have been the cause. So I'm definitely going to address that. I'll have to shift some of these wires around and do something there, so that's not an issue, but maybe that was the cause. I don't know. It may have just gotten worse over time and finally led to a really lean condition, but we'll see. I'm going to talk to some of the guys on the forums and other Lotus guys and see if that could be a possibility. So anyway, getting ready to get started. making progress. I think I have everything undone to get the head off now. So that's the next step. The intake is removed. Just set off to the side. All the nuts on the studs are off. The water coolant hoses are off the head. Here's going to be the biggest issue right here. If there's enough clearance between this and the manifold, exhaust manifold. I removed one of those heat shields to give it as much room as possible. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like I've got room. I know it's got to come a long way to clear the studs. So yeah, it's probably going to hit. I'm probably going to have to undo the motor mount on this side and tilt the motor a bit. We'll see. I'm holding out hope. I don't want to do that, obviously, but it's better than trying to take this manifold off. So I'm going to take a quick break, drink some water, grab a snack, and relax a minute before I tackle that, because I imagine that's going to be, I think it looks like it's going to be one of the easiest steps, but you know, with the weight and the angle, it could end up kicking my butt. So far, it's the simplest things that have been the worst, just getting to bolts and screws and hose clamps that are just ridiculously inaccessible. So we'll see. Heads off. I did have to remove or unbolt the driver's side motor mount and then tilt the engine, and it came off with the manifold. Thank God. And here's what it looks like. So it appears it was blown in two locations. There and there. So cylinders 1 and 3, which makes sense because when I was having that rough idle, it felt just like I'd lost a coil pack, like has happened previously, which would be 2 cylinders. So I am a little relieved that that's what it was. I'd hate to have gotten this far and find out that's not what it was, but certainly seems to be. And let's take a look at the head. There it is. And I'm not real sure what I should do as far as cleaning those. I don't want to cause damage, any more damage. So I'll check and see. I may just lightly scrub them down with a plastic brush or something, no metal or anything. So we'll see. And there it is with the manifold on. I really did not want to take that off. It's really difficult to get to these nuts, and they're in such good shape, and these are known to leak. And I don't have any exhaust leaks now, so I definitely didn't want to do that and risk all that. So all right, well, I think it's time to do some cleanup and get some advice. All right, end of another long day. I got everything I wanted accomplished. Well, just about. The head's off. I did a lot of cleaning and replacing of some hoses and vacuum lines. Got the belts pulled off, all except the timing belt. I need to get a pulley belt strap wrench to hold the crank pulley, so I can get that off, unscrew that, unbolt it, and I can get the timing belt off, and then it's just a matter of waiting for all the parts to come in. I will clean up the heads and the cam towers and all that, get those ready for sealant and gaskets. It just amazes me how the smallest things end up taking the most time. Out of the 3 accessory belts, the alternator belt, the power steering and water pump belt, and the air conditioner belt, out of all 3 of those, only one can be taken off just by loosening the tension adjustment. To get the water pump one off, I had to take the pulley off of that. For the air conditioner one, it was so tight. I ended up prying it off. I don't know if it's any good or not. I might have to replace it, but it's just amazing. Just a little more thought in the setup of that, and it would have made it so much easier. But otherwise, that's it for today. I'm going to be doing more cleaning tomorrow, and then probably just waiting on parts. So tune in for the next episode.